Welcome to Life with Noelle. I'm Noelle Aquila, and this is Everyday Evolution. When you feel the delight in creation, laughter deep in your soul, and a joyful connection with the universe, feeling brightness and a sense of humor, moving with the universe, you are engaging in creative play. I was out walking the other day and I was walking through trees, and there was just a moment as a ray of sunlight shone through. And in looking at it, I just felt completely free, playful, and with the sense that everything was light and is going right. And in that very moment, all of my concerns fell away, and I felt like I was merged to a greater force, a universal force that was leading the way, and I was simply dancing along with it. Now, why do I tell you this? This is all about being in the very present moment, and even more than that, engaging in creative play, the play of creation. There is a huge conditioned group consciousness on this planet telling you that if you want something, then you really have to reach out and grab it. And thinking this way makes you feel a lot of fear. And in doing so, distrust the natural flow of life. And this is because you begin to feel separate from the whole, as if you needed to get everything done yourself. And if not, then who knows what would happen. And when this happens, this is like pushing your individual will against the whole of creation, believing that you can force things and come out on top. And this is thinking that if you really, really want something, you need to make it happen, that you have control over the outcome. And this comes from really feeling separate. And this can be scary. And because of this, your natural reaction would be to seek that security by force, really forcing your will or setting yourself above others through force. And in business, this means that to climb up to the top, you must, maybe even unconsciously, push others down. This is where competition comes from. And this ends up as a waste of energy because more often than not, you also meet resistance. Yet there is no reason to do so, as your higher purpose lies deep within yourself. And you cannot force that purpose out into the world through force. It's already innate with you, within your DNA. And this comes out through understanding that your higher purpose is something that you must tune into. When I first started my business, so this was my very first business, and I was in my 20s. This started out with an inspired idea. This was an idea that to me at that time was huge. But in working through my beliefs on what was possible versus impossible, things came together so quickly, and this business was up in just a few short months. Try as I might, if I wanted this to come about earlier, then I'm sure that things wouldn't have been in place, and I wasn't that person who was ready for this experience. So this means that this experience came at exactly the right time, and it was only possible given the circumstances at that time. Fast forward a few years later, there I was pulled out of my creative zone. I had hit the wall just because I had found myself running departments and operations that weren't exactly suited to my zone of genius. And I really, really wanted this business to work. It was as if my life depended on it. So I pushed and I pushed. So this became about my individual will rather than surrendering to the flow. Yet your higher purpose can only manifest when you surrender your individual will. At that time, I really wanted to speak and I wanted to teach. And I especially love being in the creative zone. Yet, at that time, I had shifted to brute force, me pushing and pushing, using my will alone, trying everything I could to keep things afloat. Yet, there is your will, which, as you'll see, is an illusion. And there is thy will. And this is where you can begin to understand that this higher purpose already exists within you. And this is simply something that you must tune into. After I closed that business down, I began to search. I searched far and wide, and this brought me to different corners of the globe. And in that time, it seems like there was not much going on, as if I was just playing, floating along. But looking back, it was life bringing me forwards towards situations that would later on be instrumental in my higher purpose. I remember this one time where I really, really learned the meaning of surrender. It was a time I found myself in India. And just for some reason, that night, I found myself in a fire ceremony. And it was the first time I had been in such a ceremony. Yet it touched me to the core. And it was at that moment I felt the true meaning of surrender. How it feels like to give everything up, knowing that I was always supported. And in the years that followed, I would find myself in situations such as sitting in various plant ceremonies and going deep into quantum healing, learning all of these different healing modalities. And it was fun and play at that time. I was very interested. And yet, as I let life unfold, little did I know that I was also creating myself and who I would be in the next chapter of my life. It was during that time I tried to start several businesses, and this wouldn't seem to move along. And a lot of the times I felt like I needed to push things to happen since I was getting really impatient. Felt like something needed to happen and I needed to make it happen. Yet, like I told you, there is your will and there is thy will. And in doing so, it isn't anymore your plan or your timing. So it becomes a lesson of unraveling, letting go of your individual will, and instead merging with the divine will. In such, it is the letting go of all fear and letting go of feeling separate. This is where your actions become the end in itself. Action, done as the end in itself, is always done out of pure joy, passion, service. It's because you delight in the present moment, delighting in taking that action. And in doing so, it becomes less about the end result. Now, this is what it means to operate from a state of detachment. So we have attachment, which is attachment to the outcome, and detachment. Wanting an outcome, yet you're so happy in the present that you're open to any possibility. And as you'll see, this is a very powerful state of being. You act in the moment without attachment to the result. And when you do so, what you do always conveys a sense of love for creation, even done for the sole purpose of fun, divine fun. And this is creation, creation at play. It might sound simple and non productive, but let me tell you, this is the most powerful and creative state of all. This is when your will merges with universal will, with divine will, and they become one and the same. You become a master of creation, one who is God at play. And in doing so, you become one with existence. So today, I played. Do you want to have fun creating today? So maybe take a moment and ask yourself, what is it that I wish to experience? And allow yourself to bring up visions of this and really feel how it would feel like to experience this. Allowing yourself to savor in the delight of the creative process. Letting your imagination run wild as you reach for that vision. And even more than that, reaching for that vision that lies beyond your vision. Maybe things that you might have dreamt of as impossible. Or maybe they were just so big that you never even thought they could be part of your vision. So let yourself have fun with this. Even create intentions for this, all while detaching from a specific outcome. One really good way that I use to detach from a specific outcome is to say to myself, this or something better. This or something better. And in doing so, you open it up to a field of infinite possibilities. You're not anymore limited by it having to happen in this particular way. You want it to happen in this particular way, yet you're open to all the possibility there is. And this allows you to enjoy the journey. Soak up the delight in the present moment as you make your way towards there in full trust and with absolute certainty in your vision. Certainty that it would happen without having to figure out the how. Keeping a clear intention while taking light-hearted action. Keeping that state of play, creative play. You give up the attachment to the result. Have fun as you create moment to moment. And in this state of being, in this state of detachment, lies a lot of creative power. As you allow creative play to lighten your heart, uplift your spirit, and bring delight into your life, as you celebrating life as it already is, and in being so present in this very moment, in absolute delight and in celebration, you might even begin to see what it means to die to each minute. die to each minute, and in doing so, you are reborn again and again and again. Let your ability to delight in life increase more and more every single day as you allow this to unfold in divine time, creating as one who is God at play. So, my dear visionary, today I ask you, what can you give up to surrender more? And how can you infuse more play and more delight into your life? Because it's all about remembering who you truly are. Thank you for tuning in today. For more, visit lifewithnoelle.com. See you again next Monday.